You've heard stories about the heroes from World War II, but you've likely never heard about a battalion that carried out a very important task. And as Channel 2 anchor Jobita Moore explains, they made history in their first mission supporting soldiers in England. Decades later, their families are still fighting for their recognition.
So I was just so blown away with the emotions because I never knew that I was raised by a history maker.
Brenda Brown can't hide her pride when it comes to talking about her mother, Willie Bell Irvin.
So there was little money, very little money, and it was not enough to send her to school, so she ended up with Plan B.
Plan B got Irvin out of the Southwest Georgia fields and placed her right in the middle of World War II. She was part of a new battalion, the 6888th, an all-female battalion.
800 enlistees and 55 officers at that time.
With one more thing in common.
All African Americans.
On February 3rd, 1945, they boarded a ship for their very first mission.
They were going to England.
The only all-black, all-female battalion was headed overseas for World War II.
And I just still am so emotional about their story.
They traveled to Birmingham, England to solve a backlog of mail.
Years of back mail, and the morale of the soldiers was so low.
That was taking a toll.
Mail was packed to the ceiling.
The women worked 3 shifts to clear the backlog.
Conditions were bad, rat infested, just dirty.
In 1945, sorting a warehouse filled with mail for thousands of soldiers was no easy task.
Most of the people back in those days would write to their sons and they would just say, to Junior. Can you imagine, picking up papers and saying to Junior, United States Army?
President Roosevelt gave them 6 months to fix it.
And they were able to put together such a plan where they could separate all these juniors, and get them to the right people.
They did the job in 3 and raised morale among the soldiers. Despite their success, they could not escape the problems that their brothers and sisters encountered back home in America.
They faced discrimination at home and abroad.
That's why 75 years later, family members say the women of the 6888 have yet to get the recognition they deserve.
Brave. I don't think they knew that they were making history. I know my mother didn't. I would love to see them in a history book.
In 2018, surviving members of the battalion and their families gathered at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, to celebrate a monument built to honor the 855 women.
These women demanded change. They wasn't pushovers. In their own way, they got what they wanted, They worked hard. They didn't get recognized, but they wasn't pushovers.
What an amazing story. The 6th Cavalry Museum in Fort Oglethorpe received a $28,000 grant to install a permanent exhibit to honor the 6888. Willie Irvin passed in 1990, and during that 2018 ceremony in Kansas, Irvin was among those honored for her service. And you can learn more about the 6888 at WSBTV.com/community under links mentioned on People to People. What a story and what a legacy. We'll call it Operation Mickey.